Your information station, WTIM.
Welcome into the WTIM Morning Show. I'm Avery Cooper, your host. Your stream on TaylorvilleDailyNews.com's Facebook and WTIM TV YouTube. Brought to you by Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark and People's Bank and Trust. They put people first. Well, talking with Pana Community Hospital, I have Sydney Miles. She's a diagnostic imaging manager. Welcome into the program.
Hey, thank you.
So, Sydney, tell everyone a little bit about yourself. Like, for example, how long have you worked at Pana Community Hospital?
Well, I was hired in 1996 in July, so I've been here for 26 years. I've managed the department for about short of 25 years. Kind of thrown into the position, which was awesome. That was my goal. And so I love managing. I love buying equipment. I love, just the whole aspect of making and watching our hospital grow. Back in 1996, when I first started here, there were 3 technologists, and I just hired a new one this week, and we're up to 14, including myself. That was 3, including me, back in 1996. We've just grown by leaps and bounds here at Pana, and we're very, very thankful that, our community has a small hospital that is just diagnostically, the quality is equal to all the large hospitals around. We're just very pleased with what we have to offer here.
What's your background like?
My background?
Yeah.
Well, I was in marketing first.
Oh, wow.
I was actually on radio in the very beginning of my life. I was working for Pana's radio station in WKXK, WXKO days.
I can see it now.
Okay.
Or rather, I can hear it.
You can hear it? Oh, that's funny. Yeah. I just recently, I pretty much do all the radio ads for the Pana Community Hospital Diagnostic Imaging Department.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, about midlife, I thought, I needed something more stable. I wasn't sure how Pana was going to pan out. I didn't want to travel or relocate. So I decided to go back to school, and I was very fortunate that I found my way back to school and into X-ray, and very fortunate again that I landed the job here. And I had management in my background from working at a men's clothing store and also working at the radio station. And I ended up getting the manager's job. And like I said, I love every minute of it. It's really interesting and fun and fulfilling, to be able to purchase new equipment and, have the latest here and know and be able to provide this to our community.
What's special about today, November 8th?
Well, November 8th, 1895 is when X-rays were originally invented. A man named Wilhelm Röntgen from Germany, and I probably really butchered that because I can't speak German, but anyway, he discovered X-rays this day. And X-rays then, were the leading thing. I don't know, there's probably maybe a few people out there that either remember reading about it or remember having it done. But, back in the day when you went to little old shoe stores, they would have these little boxes that could X-ray people's feet to see what size of shoe that they would wear. And, back then, the X-rays were so strong that, they basically killed people. They gave them cancer right away,
Right.
But now in today's date, you get more X-ray, ultraviolet sort of, type of X-ray from the sun. What you get from your radiation dose that you get is very, very minimal now. And they have fine-tuned it down to the point of, it's basically next to nothing. You just don't want to have X-rays every day, of course.
Right.
Yeah.
So obviously we're not using the same kind of X-rays as we were in 1895. They've advanced quite a bit since then.
Right. It's still the same principle. It's still X-rays, but like you said, they have advanced to the point where it's giving very, very low doses. Yeah.
Well, that's a pretty big milestone. Today, November 8th, 1895. Well, and obviously X-rays are something you do at Pana Community Hospital. What other type of imaging is available at Pana Hospital?
Well, we have ultrasound, which is not using X-rays. That uses sound waves. And so we have a full ultrasound department. We operate Monday through Friday with routine exams, and we also, have ultrasound on emergency standby for calls through the emergency room on the weekends and holidays and nights. We also do MRI, which is not X-ray either. That's a very, very large magnet that uses its energy to form images. And so we're pretty excited about having MR here um, very, very soon. And we have nuclear medicine, which does not use X-rays. That uses radioisotopes. So it's a radioactive medicine that is injected into a person's body, and then that forms different images. So then we also have like routine X-rays, which are plain X-rays, like you get an X-ray of your hand or your chest. And we also have X-rays that come from mammograms, and women get mammography done once a year or more so if it's needed. We have CT, which is X-rays, but it forms images like if you take a slice of bread. And so we can see things in like a cross-sectional anatomy. And then we also have DEXA, which emits X-rays, but at a very low amount, and that tells a person's bone density. So if a person is small, bone frame, they smoke, they've been through menopause, they need to be really watching their bone density. So they want to make sure they don't go into osteoporosis. And so we have a DEXA machine here that can tell by scanning down the hip and the forearm if necessary to see what their bone density is in case they maybe need to go on some medicine. So that's pretty much everything that we do in our hospital.
Yeah. Something that obviously comes to mind when you mention, oh my goodness, I had it and then I lost it. Pregnant mothers, they often utilize, there was one of the first things you mentioned.
Ultrasound.
Yes, ultrasound.
Yes.
Thank you. Obviously, that's one of the first things that come to mind with ultrasound, pregnant mothers. But is there anything else that the ultrasound could be useful for?
Oh, it's useful for everything. We image the heart. We do echocardiograms. We not only just for babies. We do pelvic ultrasounds. We do what's called venous Dopplers. They look at the people's legs, their veins in the legs, to see if there's blood clots. They look at your gallbladder. I mean, there's just a numerous amount of things. The arteries and the veins in your neck to see if there's some claudication there in case you're building up some calcium and possible sets you up for a stroke. There's just a multitude of ultrasound procedures that we provide.
All right. Well, that sounds great. And also the MRI machines and all the other stuff. Is there anything else going on in the Pana Hospital imaging department that we haven't covered?
Oh, yeah. We have a lot of things going on. If you haven't been to our department in the last 4 or 5 years, our department is almost all brand new. It's just absolutely beautiful. And we're getting ready to move our MRI unit in-house, because if you drive up to Pana Community Hospital right now, you see a mobile service that's been there for several years. We've been very fortunate that when we build onto the back part of our hospital, I think it opened up in 2019, that we have moved the majority of radiology all together, and we left a huge space for us to move MRI in, because it's extremely costly to purchase an MRI unit and then to build the room to its specifications. And so it's going to be very exciting. The date that's slated right now is December the 19th. A big, huge semi will be bringing in our magnet, and these magnets weigh tons. And a crane is going to be picking it up. We're going to have to remove one of the walls that's on the west end of our hospital, and they'll use this big crane and bring in the magnet into our room. And they'll set it, and then they'll put the wall back together. And then the next week, between Christmas and New Year's, it's slated for this arrival, is all the computer parts that go with the MRI. So I'm very hopeful that getting technologists trained and the machine all calibrated, that we're up and going by mid-February, maybe earlier, maybe a little later. It just depends on, how things play out.
What makes this machine unique from other machines and other facilities in this area?
It's a 3T, so it's got a bigger magnet, and it's got a way stronger strength than the 1.5s that are out there. And that's just basically gauging the strength. Now there are 3Ts in the area. Several, there's several local and larger hospitals around the area that already have a 3T. But what ours is going to be so special is it's brand new. It is the latest, the greatest. It's brand new, and our room is going to be designed so soothing and so aesthetic for the patient, because a lot of people have anxiety when it comes to MRIs, because it's an enclosed kind of a unit. It's clangy, it's noisy, but our room's going to be large and spacious and beautiful lighting, and just the aesthetics is going to be very calming and soothing to people. Of course, we'll have the ear system, for the audio. We'll have the audio system for the people where they don't have to hear the clanging as much as what it does do, because that's just a downfall with MRI. Our MRI is going to have an open wide bore, not an open, but it's going to be a wide bore, and that helps as the patients go in to the MRI, because it is, you do have to go into the MRI, and it's going to give really good detail. Some people are so claustrophobic they have to search out and find an open MRI somewhere in the area. Caution people of going and getting an open MRI. It doesn't not give as good a detail as the regular MRIs do. So you always want to try to find an open bore that gives a little bit more room, a little bit more spaciousness. But you can always go to your doctor and get a little bit of light sedated medication to sedate you. Yeah, a little bit, because we don't do conscious sedation here. We don't do where we put people to sleep with anesthesia. Where the larger hospitals do that.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that is Diagnostic Imaging Manager for Pana Community Hospitals, Sydney Miles. We'll talk more with her after this short time out. Your stream brought to you by Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark, and People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first.
WTIM.
In the 48th State Senate District, we need to elect a no-nonsense state senator like Doris Turner. Doris will root out bad policy and plant the seeds for a better future. Electing Doris Turner is the smart choice. Doris Turner has delivered needed tax relief. She expanded the biodiesel sales tax exemption, protecting our economy and environment. Doris voted to protect our reliable energy and property rights. Elect Doris Turner as our state senator. Paid for by Illinois Farm Bureau Activator.
If you're looking for a local, full or part-time job in Central Illinois, there's an easy place to go to find current job openings. It's IllinoisJobPost.com. That's IllinoisJobPost.com. You'll find jobs available near you. And the best part is that it's free for candidates to access 24/7. If you want a local job, when you don't have to spend a lot of money on gas to get to, then you want access to IllinoisJobPost.com to check out current local job openings. That web address again is IllinoisJobPost.com. Another service from your friends at the Miller Media Group.
Now's the time to order your new 23 vehicle or choose from over 400 pre-owned vehicles in our family dealerships. General Manager Bill Pinkston here from Landmark of Taylorville, your GM Superstore. You can now order your 23 model car or truck, including the Refresh, Chevy Silverado, and GMC Sierra. Let us help you choose what 23 will work for you, or let us find your next pre-owned vehicle from our family of dealerships. And yes, we will still buy your vehicle, even if you don't buy from us. Your GM Superstore is Landmark of Taylorville, online at landmarkoftaylorville.com. And remember,
You always do better at Landmark.
Taylorville Care Center, Taylorville's premier nursing facility, is hiring, and they're offering the best opportunities in town with new wages, elite pay, and premium pay programs for RNs, LPNs, and CNAs. Nurses may be eligible for major medical insurance if qualified as a level 2 nurse. Their exclusive work perks has something for all employees. Quarterly retention bonuses and weekly vaccination incentives are also offered. Apply to learn more. Join the Taylorville Care Center family by finding their ad on Indeed.com. Taylorville Care Center, caring for the community for nearly 50 years.
Flu season is upon us, and getting your flu shot with Springfield Clinic is easy. Ask for your flu shot at your next doctor's appointment or call to schedule an appointment. Visit springfieldclinic.com/flu to see flu shot clinic dates available near you. Springfield Clinic, a community of caring.
Christian County Economic Development Corporation helps Taylorville, Pana, and other local communities establish and promote their industrial parks, providing constant communication with existing and prospective employers, helping to grow or attract businesses. Find out more by clicking their icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
Local farm broadcaster Jared White covers the local agriculture news you need to know. Weekday mornings at 6:40 and weekday afternoons at 12:20. Hear his reports by downloading the free WTIM mobile app at the Apple Store or Google Play.
Your information station, WTIM.
Welcome back to the WTIM Morning Show. I'm Avery Cooper. Your stream brought to you by People's Bank and Trust. They put people first. Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark. I have Sydney Miles on the phone. She's a diagnostic imaging manager with Pana Community Hospital. We're talking about all the great things going on in the diagnostic department. Sydney, is there anything? We talked a little bit about your new radiology room and new machines and all that, but is there anything else that you'd like to touch on that's going on in your department?
Yes, at the same time that we're installing this new MRI, we're also installing our last major piece of digital imaging in our imaging department for just plain x-rays. And it's kind of a combo unit. It's called fluoroscopy, and that takes images in motion, takes pictures of images in motion. So say, for instance, you come in and you've got some problems with swallowing, then the patient drinks some barium, and the radiologist can watch as it flows down through the esophagus and into the stomach, and it takes the images in motion, and then we save them, and he gives a report on it, and sends the final results on out to the doctor. So this new piece of equipment, like I said, is our final piece that pulls all the digital together, and it so happens that it was a surprise. I wasn't ready to really install it until the next year or the year after, but it was a surprise, and we said, hey, let's get this done this year. And so right now the room has been totally removed. We're down to one x-ray room, but that hasn't seemed to be a problem because the x-ray technologists that work in the diagnostic imaging department, they work miracles, and they get people in and out as quickly as possible. And so we've got this new room that today the equipment is going to start marching through our building. And so there might be a little bit of chaos or not, they'll do it in a very seamless manner, get these big pieces of equipment in the room. And then it takes about another 2 to 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks at the max, to get it all put together, electrically installed, make sure it's working okay. And then of course it's going to require some additional training for the technologists. So once that's done, we've pretty much got a brand new radiology department over here, and we're so pleased and we're so proud.
You sound very proud of that project and the result that it's going to have and the impact it's going to have on the community.
Yes, it is. It is. We'll be able. We offer things such as barium, like I said, barium swallows, other sort of exams in this room. We have surgeons here now that perform total knee surgeries. We have surgeons that perform the total shoulders, the total hips. And so we're the frontline people. We do the initial x-rays so these surgeons can look at the images to determine if the patients need the surgery. So it's almost like one-stop shopping. They go see the surgeon in our clinics, then they get the x-rays with us, then they go back to the surgeons, then they get their total knees replaced. We perform x-rays during the surgery to help guide them. And then our physical therapy department then takes care of the patient on the backside. So it's just amazing that you can get a total knee replacement done, and you come in at 7 o'clock in the morning and you go home before 7 o'clock that night. It's just amazing.
Right. And all while keeping patients close to home. Sydney, in about 30 seconds, anything else that you'd want to touch on or reiterate?
I just want to make sure that if you know that you need an x-ray, talk to your doctor, stay local with us, because we can provide this type of service that any other hospital around can provide. So just get that doctor's order in, make sure that it gets pre-authed and that it's approved, and then come see us.
That's Diagnostic Imaging Manager Sydney Miles. Thank you so much, Sydney.
All right. Thank you very much for having me on today.
And she's from Pana Community Hospital. Your stream brought to you by Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark and People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first.
WTIM.
With SRN News.